back, and I was like about to poop my pants. So I was like, oh, this is horrifying. This is the worst thing.
I know.
I love it.
Terrifying.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, but as a kid, it's so much fun, and it really like prepares you for like the work, the hours that we put in. Like Stranger Things is fun. It's I want to say it's nothing because the hours that we're working 17 hours now. We're adults. With Broadway, it's very scheduled. You know when you're gonna leave. You know where you're gonna start. You know what I mean? When you go on a Stranger Things set, you're like, I don't know what I'm gonna finish. Yeah. So it's definitely a good thing to start off when you're young.
That's incredible. Now, Stranger Things is a pop culture phenomenon. It's a great throwback show for a guy like me who's born in the 80s, but also it's so relatable to modern generations as well. When did you guys both know that you were a part of something special?
I think it was always through a part of something special. I don't think it took us a while to realize that we were part of something large. Like that was kind of different. We always knew it was good. I think what was weird to me was, this is like the first thing that we had both done at that scale. Even in the first season, we hadn't done anything consistently on TV like that in our careers at that point. And I remember a lot of the crew members who are very seasoned, like veterans, who have been doing this their entire lives, kept coming up to us and being like, hey, this is really good. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is normal. Like, I guess like that's normal for like crews of content to be like, hey, this is actually good. But like, they'll even tell you they've worked on some of the best stuff and some of the most garbage stuff out there. So it's not like, when they're the ones telling you like, this is special, you probably should believe them. And I didn't, I was like, whatever. And then I was like, oh, cool. It is kind of cool.
I think it was different. It was different levels for me. I felt that being on the show was gonna make an impact in the world, but I feel like it changes every season for me. In the first season, I felt that it was gonna be good because of our chemistry, just being on set. There was a month of just school, and we hung out. I knew Gaten prior to Stranger Things, so having that chemistry was like A1. And then when the show dropped, a week later, I remember Finn told us that Robert Downey Jr. posted something about Stranger Things. Yeah, he did. He was on his bike. And then I think either Stephen King tweeted or...
I think Stephen King
tweeted.
Yeah,
I felt that, okay.
Which Matt and Ross were like, swing your hands about that, say that word.
Yeah, but then, and in season 3, we had like a world tour, and then we go to Japan. So that's when
those kind of changed it for me. Once you see it like on like an international scale, once you're like, you're gonna go to a different continent. It's like, oh, that's people watch that over there. Like, yeah, a lot.
And then you look, and then I looked up. Well, I didn't look it up. Someone told me like the other day that we're the second most watched show in the world ever. So
what?
Yes.
Nah.
Yeah. Yes. I had an argument with my son about this.
What's number 1?
Huh? I think it's like Game of Thrones or Grey's Anatomy or something. Whatever.
Oh, I think Grey's Anatomy might be it. Because like, yeah, they've got like, 900 seasons, which is like good for them.
I know.
Crank them out.
So it becomes, each season, it just becomes surreal.
Yeah. That's incredible. Now, when you guys landed the role of Lucas and Dustin, what did you, like, that's in the 80s, obviously you're not born in the 80s. Was there any form of television or films or games from the 80s, from that time period, you kind of absorbed? And the second part of that question is there anything in season 5 that you're absorbing that helps inform your character upcoming? Season 5, is there anything that you're kind of taking in, whether it be film, television, to inform your character for season 5?
Well, I think we were all like pretty well versed into like the 80s pop culture. I mean, I don't know if people who were raised in the 80s are aware of this, but you all love to talk about the fact that you were raised in the 80s. Like even before Stranger Things, it's like, but it's to the point where like your kids are like, I know who Duran Duran is. You've played, I get it, yes, we know. So like, even pre-Stranger Things, we were like, we got it, we were in it, watched all the movies, listened to all the music, so it was cool to have that initially going in. And for 5, I think they always like to like highlight a new aesthetic that they hadn't gone into before, because a lot of people, when they think of the 80s, they think of like that new wave, that fun, that like, that neon, the John Hughes and stuff, but there was also such cool stuff, like rock was changing, like new music was coming in, like that's why like it was cool for them to like jump like the metal world with like the Metallica stuff last year. So So I've been trying to like expand on like the music front more so with this season, I think, than anything. Just like making little playlists for myself. Yeah.
Have you guys started mentally preparing to say goodbye to these characters that you played for such a long time?
Yeah. I think.
I think it's hard. I feel like it's hard to even just say, yeah, I'm ready to say goodbye. I don't think
We haven't even read the end yet. We don't know how it ends. They haven't seen the last few episodes yet, and we're in the middle of filming. So like, it's kind of like it's hard to like put into perspective saying goodbye until you see how you're going to have to. That will be coming up soon, I hope.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah.
I wanna read it so bad. I'm so antsy.
Same. I know, like, I feel that you can mentally prepare, but I don't think, because these characters, they've come to life.
Right.
I almost see Lucas as like an alternate personality. You know, when people say, I love Lucas, I'm like, me too.
Yeah.
Not because it's me, it's not me.
Right.
We've literally created this spirit, this human throughout these years, like almost a decade, you know?
Yeah.
And people are inspired by who Lucas is. A lot of people don't really know who Caleb is. Everybody knows who Lucas is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody knows Lucas's emotion when it comes to his friends, how he deals with even his love for Max, and how he is when he's scared, and what science class he's taken, and what tests he's passed. You don't know if I even passed school, guys. You don't even know. Like, you don't even know if I really. You know what I'm saying? I could be putting on a whole face.
But that's something so cool is that we have been playing these parts for so long that like it's cool to like reflect on the things in yourself that you put into that character. Because when you're shaping something since you were 12 years old and you've been doing it for so long that you kind of get the freedom to do what you want with it and instinctually tackle something when it comes to like scene work and see how it grows. Sometimes it's cool to like reflect and see what it is in yourself that you put in that character. That's really cool. Like I'll be able to look back and see that. It's like a bit of like not only a time capsule of like the character, but a time capsule of myself at the time. So I can look back and be like, cool, this is how I've grown, this is what I want to like remember to hold on to. Something I'm like, that'd be better letting go of that, things like that. So it's a bizarre concept, but it's cool.
Hi, I'm trying to remember to breathe right now, but during the very emotional death scene where Eddie says, I love you, man, how did that affect you during filming? And also, did you think it was essential for him to have that like character redemption arc during his last moment?
I think
I think.
Yeah, with all my time with I think that's kind of like the main goal of that character initially was to kind of like have that arc and have that like it's such a cool outlet for the plot to kind of take off. Like for that Scooby-Doo gang, the Hawkins gang, to kind of like have a really cool like tunnel through everything that was going on. I think it was such a unique way to like go about them figuring out about Vecna and Henry in general, and kind of that being introduced. So cool. Joe's an incredible actor. I think he improv'd I Love You Man. I think that was just him. And his coverage is so good. We filmed that twice because I absolutely despised the first time we filmed that. He was so good, and I just wasn't centered. It was outside at like 5 a.m. We'd already done like a whole day of filming, and we were just drained. And like it just wasn't there. Like it didn't feel right. And then we did the scene with his uncle in the gym at the school. And then that went through, and that felt a lot better. And then Matarazzo were like, great, we want to find that and put that in the scene with Joe. And Joe was kind enough to go back to that space and do it on a soundstage and do it again. And I think that's very much needed, not just for Eddie and the end of him, but also everything that's going to come up for Dustin going forward. You know, that's obviously something that isn't let go easily. So, yeah.
Hello, how are you doing?
How are you? Gaten, first off, thank you so much for providing comic relief during the most stressful scenes of the show.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm glad they write it for me.
I also have two questions. My first one is, what is the biggest change that you've seen in your lives, like personal, on the show, plot lines, throughout the nearly decade that you've been working on the show?
What's most important to us?
The biggest change.
What's the biggest change? Like in life, because of the show?
The life, your show, plot lines, anything.
Man, there's a whole bunch. I think it's kind of what hasn't changed is our regrets? Oh boy, do you have one? Like, what's something that stands out to you, like pre-Stranger Things, post-Stranger Things? Like, you have something that stands out to you, like pre-Stranger Things and post-Stranger Things? Like, what's one of the biggest shifts for you? Because I think it's just like going out day to day. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But we've been doing that since we were 13, and it's kind of been, we've been used to that aspect of it all.
I think my perspective on the world has actually sped up faster than maybe the average person.
I'm sure you have to grow up real quick.
Yeah, not even just growing up, maybe just more of like a spiritual thing too.
Oh, cool.
And just seeing the world at a different perspective than a lot of people don't see. Meeting different races, ethnicities around the world, and even at my
Travel
table,
a lot, yeah.
just traveling, but like at my table, everyone has a different story that I meet. I'm signing the same autograph, but there's always a different story that's told and why they're inspired. Or not even just like everyday life, like someone could be like, yeah, I woke up this morning, I drove here. Someone's like, yeah, I just woke up this morning, I came from Mexico. Two different, you know what I mean? So I think understanding that and and then even like relating to it in a way, it's different.
Yeah.
That in the small town I grew up in Carmel, New York, I would have never gotten that.
For sure.
And meeting and then going back home and then talking to people from there, I'm like, your world is, not saying it's small, but like I encourage people to learn. I encourage people to experience different things. I told someone this. I looked at a documentary on the KKK. Don't really care about it, but it's just something to know. Learn about everyone else's history. You know what I mean? I learn about American history. Learn about history in Africa. Learn about history in Georgia and Russia. You know what I mean? So it's like, is Georgia and Russia right?
Georgia's near Russia.
Yeah, near Russia. Okay. I felt that you would know that, but you know what I mean? So it was just broaden your horizon so that you can understand, because when you live in this world, when you live in a world and you only think the way you think is the right way, it's not.
Yeah,
you know,
get so
so
many reasons. And also it's such a cool way to like be in a situation where you get to go see so much. You get to be
like my superhero right now is Harriet Tubman.
Yeah.
The only reason why I'm saying that, everyone knows who Harriet Tubman is, right? Right? But if you watch the movie, she almost was like a real life superhero. The way she passed out and had her seizures and was able to navigate the slaves to freedom was amazing. I was looking at the film like, she's literally a superhero. She brought 300 slaves and didn't leave anybody behind. The 19 trips that she's made, going from the south to the south to the north and to Canada as well. It was to, you know what I mean? So, and I'm like, I want to see like a superhero movie like that.
The movie felt like a superhero.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's, you know what I mean? So there's superheroes in every story. So that's what has changed for me. You know?
It's a great